It was just another Tuesday afternoon, and I was elbow deep in restocking kitchen gadgets in the houseware section when a voice pierced through the store like a siren. High-pitched, indignant, it made shoppers freeze and employees exchange that knowing glance. Saw troubles brewing, saw. I couldn't see the chaos yet, but the security footage later painted a VYVYD picturia woman with a flawless auburn bob, slamming a plastic bag onto the customer service VYC counter so hard it sent a gift card display crashing. I demand a full refund for these items. Saw right now, saw. She bellowed, loud enough to echo into the parking lot. Poor Emily, our wide-eyed new hire at the counter, looked like she'd rather vanish in a thin air. The woman Laura Bennett, as I'd later confirm, ripped open her bag, spilling out a pile of clothes. My stomach churned when she held up a pair of clearly worn women's underwear, dangling them between her polished nails like she was in a courtroom presenting exhibit. Emily stammered, "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but we can't accept returns on undergarments that have been." But Laura cut her off with a shriek. "It's my saw right saw as a consumer." Her face flushed to match her tailored blazer, and I saw security in the corner quietly radioing for backup. I knew her the second I got close. Laura Bennett, Queen Bee of the Willow Creek Homeowners Association. She'd been my personal nightmare since I moved into the neighborhood 6 months ago. This was the same woman who'd slapped 3 violation notices on my door because my lawn was a smidge too tall. The same Laura who called an emergency HOA meeting when I painted my mailbox forest green instead of the Willow Creek-approved emerald shade. She ruled our community like a dictator with a measuring tape, obsessed with fence heights and parking rules. Her catchphrase at every meeting, "Rules are rules, people." Just last week, she'd gone toe-to-toe with my neighbor, Dr. Patel, over his bird feeder, claiming it was an unauthorized wildlife magnet. The argument ended with half the neighborhood laughing as she stormed off, humiliated. Apparently, she decided our department store was the perfect place to reclaim her bruised ego. "I've been shopping here for 20 years, saw," Laura was now yelling, while VYing her rewards card like it was a royal decree. "This store saw me." Emily, bless her, stayed calm. "I understand, ma'am, but our policy clearly states that undergarments can't be returned once worn." I edged closer, drawn by a mix of curiosity and dread. The counter was a mess, used clothes, some with makeup stains, others reeking of perfume, their price tags sloppily pinned back on. Laura's voice hit a new pitch, making a kid nearby cover his ears. "This is saw discrimination, saw. I demand your manager, saw now, saw. These are in perfect condition, I barely wore them." A crowd was forming, some shoppers pulling out their phones to record. Laura, far from embarrassed, seemed to feed off the attention, her voice booming louder. "Do you know who I am? I run the most prestigious HOA in this county. I'll have this store blacklisted from Willow Creek." I caught Emily's eye and mouthed. "Saw need help?" Saw she gave a tiny nod, so I stepped in. "Hey, Laura," I said, keeping my tone light. "Didn't expect to see you here." She whirled around, her eyes narrowing. "Oh, the forest green mailbox guy. This is none saw of your business." I shrugged. "Actually, I work here part-time. There seems to be a mix-up about our return policy." "There's no mix-up," she snapped. "I bought these, I don't want them, and I'm getting my money back." "That's how stores work." "After wearing them?" I asked, raising an eyebrow. "That's where it gets tricky." Her face twisted with fury. "They're saw practically new, saw." She grabbed the underwear, stretching the elastic for emphasis. "Barely used." Before I could respond, our manager, Sam, arrived, his calm presence like a balm on the chaos. "Good afternoon," he said smoothly. "I hear there's an issue with a return." Laura didn't let him finish, launching into a tirade at double volume. Sam listened, nodding patiently, then offered a compromise. "While we can't issue a cash refund, we'd be happy to VY to store credit as a one-time courtesy. We value your business, but health regulations apply." It was generous, bending our rules significantly. Anyone reasonable would have taken the deal and left. But Laura? Reason fled her the second she felt challenged. "Saw store credit, saw?" She spat, as if he'd handed her a bag of trash. "I don't want your overpriced junk. I want my saw money, saw." What happened next was a blur, so while we had to watch the security footage in slow motion later, Laura, apparently deciding the staff was too incompetent, lunged over the counter, knocking over a display, and VYing Emily aside to reach the register. "I'll do it myself," she shouted. Security moved into officers closing fast. Laura, spotting them, swung her designer purse in a wild arc, smacking one officer across the face with a loud saw-thwack saw. The store went dead silent. Even Laura seemed stunned, but instead of backing down, she doubled down. "He was in my space. I know my saw. I'll sue this whole place for harassment." She was digging in her purse later, claiming it was for her phone to call her lawyer when the front door slid open and 2 police officers stepped in. Sam must have called 911 during the chaos. Laura was mid-rant, threatening to sue everyone from the store to Emily personally when the cops approached. "Ma'am, step aside and speak with us," one said firmly. "I know my saw," she bellowed, sealing her fate. The officers re-VY'd the footage in Sam's office, then returned with handcuffs. "Laura Bennett, you're under arrest for disorderly conduct, assault, and attempted theft," one announced, cuffing her as she shrieked. "Saw theft, saw? I was saw returning saw things. This VY OLAT's my constitutional rights. My husband's a big shot CEO." The store watched, stunned, as she was marched out, still hurling threats. A hush lingered, broken by a shopper muttering, "Well, saw was wild." 2 weeks later, I sat in an emergency HOA meeting, the air thick with gossip. Laura's arrest had hit the local news, exposing her history of similar stunts. She was banned from 3 other stores, using fake names like Lisa or Linda to dodge recognition. The judge wasn't amused by her courtroom antics, slapping her with a lot $2,000 fine, 100 hours of community SARE VYC, anger management classes, and a year's probation with store ban. But the real blow? The HOA board voted unanimously to oust her as president and bar her from any board role for 5 years. As the decision was read, Laura's face went pale, her mouth flapping silently. For someone who lived to control others, losing that power was her worst nightmare. So what do you think? Was Laura a victim of an unfair system, or did she get exactly what she deserved? Should stores bend policies for loyal customers, or stick to the rules no matter what? And how much power should HOAs really have over our lives? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if this story got your blood pumping, and subscribe for more crazy tales. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story on Store of Good Stories. If this story touched your heart or made you think, don't forget to hit like and share the video to spread this positive message to more people. And if this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of the meaningful stories we share every week. Your support is the biggest motivation for Store of Good Stories to keep bringing heartfelt and valuable stories to you. See you in the next video.